Look at my dreads. Oh my goodness. Bro, you already in here trolling, son. Like, come on, bro. Come on, dog. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You come in here and saw me down. Saw my dreams down. You sent another black human dreams down. But that shit ain't cool, baby. That shit ain't cool. That shit ain't cool, bro.
I was born on October 20th, 2005.
Man, we got a death penalty.
Mr. Gathright, you've heard people speak here today on your behalf.
Oh yeah, you know he a crybaby ass nigga. Yeah. I can see it in his face. So when these clips come of him crying, I'm finna get it to you. Because nigga, you a bitch. Get a real nigga like me in that situation. Nigga know what I'm doing.
Yesterday, and I know that you wanted to address the court and the jury. So I would like to ask you what you want the jury to know.
Nigga said he ready to cry. He finna cry the car, not the car in the cell, dumbass. This for all you gangster niggas. Y'all better pay attention, man. This shit ain't the move. You better rap the right way and get your money and leave people alone. Just go into the hip hop world, bro. Don't mix that shit with the streets, bro. Don't mix that shit with pleasure, bro. Don't do it, bro. What happen when you mix that shit with pleasure, bro?
I just want to address the court today, and, you know, I'm not here to dispute anything. I'm just here to be a man and take responsibility and express my feelings about what, you know, this whole situation. You know, that's what I plan on doing.
Okay. And
Dude look like he's shaking. I would've been in that bed. What we doing? Yeah, man. Hey, yeah, what up? Really like that.
how
I feel very remorseful, you know.
Boy, no you don't. Well, you do now. And you should do. But at first you didn't. When you had that thing to that boy Carl. God tried to tell the boy the first time, this ain't for you when you shot him in the foot. God tried to tell you this ain't for you when you shot the nigga in the foot. You should have went home to your mama, man.
This is a terrible situation. It's been a tremendous, you know.
let me ask you this. So how old were you when you were arrested?
I was 18 years old.
We heard that you had started some college, obviously probably didn't get very far, right?
Right.
What have you done since you've been in jail? Are there things that you can do there?
So, you know, I've gotten into programs. I've also, you know, I grew up, you know, in church and, you know, in a Christian household. So
And you didn't take none of the lessons, did you? You didn't take none of the lessons, because look where you at. Nigga, no, don't say that, nigga. I grew up in the church household. Me. He ain't one of us. This ain't one of us. You see what
refocused my, you know,
I gotta
life
edit
to
that out.
Christ, and, you know, I've taken a lot of religious programs, a lot of resources, and a lot of family that love me, and they've even.
And you didn't care about none of that. You was trying to be gang. You was trying to be gang. I know a nigga like that. And he ain't from my city, but we ain't gonna do too much talking. But yeah. I know a nigga like that for sure. But nigga, do something for your gang. I told you, and look what. Hey, you got the most time for this shit, bro. And you was the most nice one. Look at you, got a cut, wave, slick, look just like your daddy. And act like your mama.
You know, ask.
What about those relationships? Like,
Oh, look at this mama. Oh man, she wanna cry like right now. Man,
that you have a lot of people. Are you able to maintain
this
those
isn't mama, right? This
relationships now?
that was the mama.
Yes, so
I hope.
I mean, everybody who I
the way that mama, y'all, they look like a devastated. I want to help my son face, but I can't.
maintain a relationship, but wasn't able to all be here today or even testify. But I talk to them daily, weekly. I cherish my supporters very deeply.
No, the fuck you don't, dude.
And I want to maintain a relationship with them for the rest of my life.
And I know, we're not going to talk about the case itself, right? But you said that you were taking accountability.
You trying to be straight and lie so good and bad, but you can't. It's on you. Scent, the stench, the chills. You shaking. Come on, man. Lame ass nigga.
Hard.
I only a 6, man.
Losing a child, a best friend, a brother, a cousin, and for that I just cannot say sorry enough. I feel terrible about the situation, but I'm a firm believer that God can use anything. Lemonade out of lemons.
Somehow. I
don't know how I use mine, but
it sounds to me like you are going to try and make the best of a bad situation. Does that sound about right?
Of course.
And are you going to continue to do that?
Of course. I'm going to try to, continue a humble life, a righteous life, try to do the right things at all times and,
Will you apprise yourself? We've heard about some.
Try to get into any vocational things I can do. Try to, keep my record clean to, go to the best incentivized things and have visits with my family. And, I just want to just stay out the way, I just want to.
Man. Look at that boy, mama, man. Mama ain't got nowhere about that, man. Look at that boy, mama, man. Like, look at that boy, mama, man. This was all we put y'all mama through, man. Look at that boy, mama, man. And she can't do nothing about that. She can't do nothing. I'm talking about nothing. Nothing. Look at that white woman, man. Look at them people, bro. And they can't do nothing about it. I want to help you. Why? I taught you way, but like that face and them tears say a lot of words, boy. And a black woman, ooh, man. I just feel it for her, dog. For us, man. Y'all boy gotta stop. If that shit ain't got nothing to do with you saying, do like this ain't got nothing to do with that boy. That boy had pictures when niggas in the NBA. In the NBA, son. That nigga had pictures when niggas is in the NBA, fool. And he did that to his mama. Say, you supposed to be in the NBA. You supposed to be rich. Nigga. You your sister in there, boy. You lame, boy.
You would agree with me that Charles Jones was young too, wasn't he?
Relatively young, yes, sir.
26, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what the evidence showed us, correct? You were sitting here watching that, correct? The evidence that came in over the last several weeks?
I was right there.
Yeah. And you want to take accountability now, correct? You want to take accountability now that this jury has found you guilty, correct?
Yes, sir.
Weeks after we went through a trial. Is that your testimony? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
What happened to the sound?
May I have a moment?
That Impala you utilized to drive the
Objection.
You're feeling a lot of on June 23rd. 26C, Xavier Edwards. 25C, Gino Norris. And you saw the autopsy photos of Charles Jones. My question to you is, after you and your friends inflicted that carnage on June 23rd, and as you were running, states 2059C, this is actually you running to shoot them, but when you were running back past that Tesla, were you feeling a lot of trauma at that point?
It was so long ago, I try to not remember anything from that night.
Were you remorseful as you were running back with that AR-15 in your hands?
Like I said, I try to remember nothing from that night.
Was it traumatic to you as you went back to the car with that AR-15? Was it still smoking? Was it still warm in your hands from firing it?
Sustain the objection.
Were you feeling remorse as you were getting back into the Impala?
Like I said, I just try to focus on today and
You ain't feel no
So
remorse.
the next day, that Impala, that was your car. You drove that around, right? It was your mom's, but you drove that car, correct?
No.
yes, sir, it was my mother's car.
Right. And that was the
No.
car you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in, correct?
I'm going to object on this.
I'm working to a point, Your Honor.
Okay, why don't we just get there?
All right. So this car, this Impala that you drove from Jacksonville to Tampa in, with
I
Mr.
know.
Chance and Miss Andrews, the one that you drove in tandem with the Silver Cruise, the same car that you utilized to drive the assault team, the shooting team, which you were a part of that night. That
No.
same car that you drove around Tampa in the early morning hours for
No.
several hours, tracking, stalking, and hunting Charles Jones and his entourage.
Sustain.
That same Impala, you drove that to Polk County the next day, and you dropped it at your grandmother's house, right? The same grandmother who came in here last night and testified for you, correct?
Overall, go ahead. You can answer that question.
Isn't that correct?
What is the question?
You dropped the Impala, the one that had a parlay celebrating what you had done that day?
That was my sister's birthday party.
When you were unloading the Impala and putting all of that evidence into the
He bring the two there, boy.
Forerunner, did you feel remorse?
Sir, I told you I don't remember how I was feeling or what I was thinking in those days.
Do not listen to that.
Thank you, man.
I know how it feels.
Problem solved, sir. Intelligence down. Ship is on fire.
Mr. Gathright, you have led, you would agree with me, an extremely privileged life, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with that, correct?
I would.
You've had a loving mother, correct?
Yes, sir.
A loving sister, correct?
Yes, sir.
You've had two wonderful grandmothers, correct?
Yes, sir.
You would agree with me, right?
I couldn't deny that.
One of which probably, I'm assuming, sacrificed and paid for you to go to that private school, that preparatory school, correct?
It wasn't paid. It was a magnet program, so I had to apply, and it was a lottery system.
It was a lottery system. Okay, so it was a magnet.
Yes, sir.
All right. She supported you going there, did she not?
Everybody did.
Gave you open use of her house, welcomed you, treated you and parented you basically, didn't she?
Yes, sir.
Took care of you when your parents were deployed, correct?
Yes, sir. At the time, I was living with my grandmother. Both of my parents had been either retired or out of the military. I was just living there more so. I needed a change of scenery, and my relationship with my father wasn't sustainable.
Okay. This is when you're in Oxford with your grandmother.
Yes, sir.
The nice lady we saw earlier came in here.
Yes, sir.
The one that has supported you and spoke so lovingly about you, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so you went to this preparatory school, and whether you got in there through a lottery or not, you would agree with me, not everybody gets to go to a school like that, correct?
The lottery school, the magnet school I went to was in middle school when I was living in Jacksonville. The school I went to in Oxford, it was just a public high school.
A public high school.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
my mistake. So you went to that preparatory school in Jacksonville.
Yes, sir.
But again, that school was not something that every kid gets to go to, right?
Oh, sir.
Not every kid gets to have a counselor and a role model like Mr. Edwards, correct?
No, sir. I was very blessed.
And not many children get to fly in planes with their stepfather, correct?
No, sir.
And fly around in Asia and get to see islands off the coast of Okinawa, correct?
No, sir. I was
And go on
very
camp-
blessed.
You are very blessed, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And not every kid gets to go to Scotland, right?
No, sir.
Or Ireland,
No, sir.
or Paris,
No, sir.
or London,
No, sir.
or Spain,
No, sir.
Cape Town, or Johannesburg, or both in South Africa.
Cape Town.
Cape Town, beautiful city, right?
Yeah.
You got to go experience that when you were growing up, correct?
I did.
Because you had such loving people around you supporting you, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, your grandmother went with you on that trip, did she not? Or not on that one, but on the ones to
Several
Europe,
trips.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And we heard you got to meet up with your sister in one of those trips, correct?
I did. I had the privilege.
So you always had someone there taking care of you, and you always had good, strong male role models, including people at your grandmother's church and your stepfather, Mr. Harrington, correct?
I had male role models in my life growing up, but in my more formative years, more so 16 to 18, I didn't. I did not have a relationship with my father, and the male role models that came and testified, they were present but not intimately as whenever I was younger, maybe middle school years. But when I turned around 16 to 18, it was the females that actually had that caregiving and nurturing relationship with me. But
Thank you for clarifying that. I appreciate it.
yes, sir. Towards the more recent years, I didn't have that one-on-one and very close
Don't try to blame in there. Mother love is the best love.
relationship with those male role models in my life. You heard my stepfather say after the divorce.
I did hear that, Mr. Chance. Let me stop you,
Mr.
okay,
Gathright.
and we'll go back to my question. I'm sorry?
Mr. Gathright.
I'm sorry, I keep calling you that, Mr. Dathray. Let me go back to what you said earlier. Between 16 and 18, you didn't have a male role model? Is that what you're telling the jury?
I'm not saying I didn't have any male role models, but day to day, young men need strong.
That's not what I
influence.
asked. I asked if you had a male role model between 16 and 18.
I had a figure that I could go to, but not intimately.
Mr. Edwards, right?
Yes, sir.
He had stayed in contact with you even when you graduated into high school, correct?
Yes, sir. We definitely maintained a relationship, but
And he
it
seemed to
wasn't.
be pretty enthusiastic about that, right?
Yes, sir.
In
Yes.
fact,
Sir.
you went on a cruise with him at some point, did you not?
Yeah, when I was younger, yes, we had
Okay.
a very close relationship.
And then from what you're saying, if I understand it right, the females, I'm assuming you're talking about your grandmothers and your mom stepped into the gap?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was grandmother's, mother's, sister. Those
So
my- those
let
my
me
parents.
see if I got this right. When you were being brought up, and you were being brought up by a mother who was enlisted or an officer in the military, an officer, wasn't she?
I don't know exactly what her rank is. I know she was a sergeant.
But in the Marine Corps.
Yes, sir. She was in the Marine Corps.
All right. And then you had a stepfather who was in the Air Force, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
From the time you were 3 all the way up to when they divorced in 2020.
Yes, sir.
All right. They taught you right from wrong, correct?
Yes, sir.
And we
Of
heard
course.
that from your
Yes, sir.
grandmother,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yeah. Of course. Yes, sir.
Miss Lyle, she told us the same thing.
Right.
They brought you up in the church. They taught you about the 10 Commandments. They taught you about right from wrong, did they not?
They did.
All right. And they were excellent role models about living your life in a disciplined, honest, and right way, correct? And being law-abiding, correct?
They really didn't have to worry about me.
Well, let me just answer my question. Would you agree with what I'm telling you? That they were excellent role models of
Yeah.
how to live a moral life?
Yes, sir. They definitely instilled the foundation.
Unlock the world's largest, most liquid financial market with Forex.com. Forex, or FX, involves trading one currency for...
May I have one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
I have nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, be ready.
Mr. Gathright, despite living, I think I did that. Despite having what you called a blessed upbringing, you still find yourself here today, right?
Unfortunately.
Where you had lived, we heard about Mississippi, and was Jacksonville different than where you had lived previously?
Jacksonville was unlike any other city that I've lived in or visited or any other country. The cultures, the neighborhoods, the people, it's completely different.
And how old were you when you kind of started experiencing that culture shock?
So when I moved to Jacksonville, I was about 9 or 10 years old. I didn't really know much about what the streets were, quote unquote, the streets were. It was more whenever I got to high school and I wanted to leave the magnet school that I was at. I wanted to be at more of a neighborhood school to be around the people I grew up with, because at the magnet schools, it's 30, 45 minutes away. I didn't really know anybody. I wasn't as close as the people who I grew up with. So around high school, that's when I started hearing about, and seeing, the different things like, the drugs and people dying and, stuff like that. And then I was caught completely off guard, but I was curious, like, what is this? And listening to the music, like, I was just like caught off guard. Like, I'd never experienced something like that, especially living in Japan and living in different states around the world. I mean, in the country, it didn't have.
Oh, you
what
stay
Jackson-
online when it presents you, goofy. See, these are niggas that really do need to be on the street.
And we've heard from a lot of people that knew you, and I think it's been a pretty consistent theme that you were mature and, smart and interested in things. But you were still, what, how old around that time?
I was 14, 15, I definitely would consider myself to be smart and, mature for my age, but
Still curious?
I was still a young boy, I still am a young man.
You think you were kind of impressionable?
I would characterize myself as, at times being naive, gullible, impressionable, and yeah.
And so despite that upbringing, are you finding yourself, you're in a different culture now, but you still want to be as successful as you can?
Yeah, so being in the jail, I'm by myself, especially in a city so far away. I don't know anybody, so I took this time to focus back in on myself and just get back to the basics, what I know, and
You should have did. When you need to ask them what I need to do, when you needed to do it, you were scared to do it, so you let the devil take over your body and brain, and look where you at, dumbass nigga.
I'm asking all these things from you. What do you want from me? And he told me that he's calling me. Like, I feel like my calling or what he told me.
Man, all this shit is bullshit, bro. You don't even know why you using God's name in vain like this. I don't understand. Hey, you using his name like you know what you talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Was to be there for
Stop,
the youth,
man.
serve the youth,
Stop.
keep them from going down similar paths, because there's a better way.
You went down the same
The streets
path,
is not the way.
but you went
The streets
down
are
them.
not the way.
But you went down them.
Having everything.
But you went down them, buddy.
Privilege
You went
and-
down them. You
Sure.
went down them. He went down them. He went down them. He went down them. The streets ain't the way, y'all. But guess what? He went down them, bitches. He went down them. He went down them. He went down them. Yeah, man. He went down them, bitches.
Watching grandmas, and you still can find yourself going down a wrong path, right?
Objection leading.
He went down them. He went down the wrong path.